Welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We are inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, Heritage Hill Brewhouse out in Pompey, and Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York. And in this very special spotlight Bearcat Breakroom, we are celebrating the champions, Binghamton University Bearcats women's lacrosse, for co-champions for the first time ever in the regular season, as well as outright America East champions after winning the America East Postseason Tournament over UAlbany 12-11 after defeating UMBC and punching their ticket to the NCAA Tournament. And that win over UAlbany, the first in program history. So with that being said, I am picture in picture in the Southern tier here with head coach Stephanie Allen of the Bearcats women's lacrosse team. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
And so, Stephanie, first and foremost, I mean, this is, incredible history. And I know there's more work to be done. And I know that this team isn't finished. But to be regular season champions, then be outright champions at the end of the America East tournament and defeat UAlbany for the first time in program history, just bring me into what all of this has felt like over the last couple of weeks.
It's still soaking in and maybe hasn't fully hit me yet. We're still in grind mode and scout mode and just working, on the next game up and next opponent. So I don't know that it's fully sunk in yet. Incredibly proud of the players in this program and even the alumni that kind of set the stage for this to happen down the road. So I'm sure at some point in time it'll fully hit me. But right now we're just kind of trying to stay in the moment, stay present and keep focused on the next opponent up.
And like you said, alumni helped to pave the way. And that's something that, some people don't speak about enough. And I appreciate the fact that you bring that up, that when we look at this season, you don't think it's just this team, but this is something that's been building for a while. What do you want to say to the journey to get to this point, and some people that may not be on the team right now, but help to build Binghamton women's lacrosse to what it is today?
Yeah, thank you for taking a chance, in a program that's not maybe nationally recognized just yet, or, one that didn't have a winning tradition established. And our alumni are part of, that core group that laid the groundwork, that laid the foundation for what you see happen out there this past weekend. Just to see a lot of them at the game, they're in support of the current players that, they don't know all their faces or names even, but they were the ones that took a chance on a place like Binghamton, saw what we had the potential to do, and did a lot of the gritty work, that led to what results we got yesterday.
And when we look at this team and we look at last season and this season alone in 2023, your team was, like you said, maybe not getting that national exposure and the overall respect. They were picked to finish 5th of 7 last year, and you were one game shy of an NCAA tournament berth, losing by just 1 goal to UAlbany. This year, you come in, you make it to the championship game in the America East, and you win by 1 goal over UAlbany. So to reflect on the fact that, Binghamton is not always getting that preseason respect, but that doesn't matter, that the voices outside don't matter to the character and the grit and the heart inside of this program, and the fact that you went one step further this year.
Yeah, I mean, we use it as motivation and fuel. Seeing those preseason rankings, it doesn't mean a lot to us. The position at the end of the season is all that matters, and maybe we are still flying under the radar. I think they'd prefer to actually be the underdogs. Again, maybe we're still catching some people off guard. I thought we'd have a little bit of a bigger target on our backs this season, and we certainly faced a lot more adversity and tougher competition throughout the course of the season. But I'm excited that this team has really just kept the focus on us, and maybe not let the outside noise or maybe even lack of talk about us, distract them or get in their heads.
You heard your student athletes speak on this and just, the successes that they've had and really just banding together and caring about each other. I know that all of the faces and the voices on this team are very important to you. We heard from Zoe, Mia, Haley, and Carla. Why did you want the four of them to speak in this Bearcat break room after winning the championship?
I think they're all players that play immensely huge roles for us out on the field, but maybe are not necessarily getting the recognition either. Especially on the defensive end, Mia's playing a little bit more of a defensive midfielder role for us. Zoe is a defender. We play a zone that you're not going to see one player stand out above the rest or one strong matchup defender. We have to play as a unit. We all have to be on. And from that standpoint, a lot of them don't get the recognition maybe that I wish that, or credit that I wish that they received. Haley, kind of just that unsung hero out on the field, doing a huge job of earning possessions for us in the draw circle and giving us the opportunity to have the ball on our offensive end. She's one of very few draw takers at the collegiate level that plays a two-way midfielder position, on top of taking the draw. A lot of these draw specialists are, foregoing and just staying on for that one specific role. And she does a lot more than that. So deserves a ton of credit and kudos. And Carla, she's somebody that I've just really seen blossom this season. I think she's increased her point production by 700% or something from last year. And again, maybe doesn't draw the attention that a Muscolino or a Murphy might, but it is doing one heck of a job as just a sophomore within this program and attacking unit that's, really elevating our offensive unit.
Yeah, and to see this, go throughout the season, as I spoke with the student athletes about when I was with you on the field after you became regular season champs with UAlbany after the win over Bryant, a very convincing win at home. You and I spoke about where the team was at, and you had expressed the fact that the team had still not shown you everything that they can do. And then you move forward and you go up against UMBC in the America East Tournament and you defeat them. And then you go into that championship against UAlbany and get the first America East championship in program history for Binghamton Bearcats women's lacrosse. I'm going to ask you again here a couple games later. Have you seen everything, or is this team still trending upward? Is there still more in the tank that you're trying to get out of them?
There's definitely still more in the tank. We're moving in the right direction, and I think there's a lot of moments stringing together of their peak potential. But I do think that this weekend, you're going to see the very best and the hardest battle that this team has fought all season.
After you get the championship, you have the opportunity of watching the selection show. Sitting there, this is your 12th year at the helm of this program at Binghamton University for women's lacrosse. To be with your team 12 years in and looking up at that screen and hearing Binghamton's name called, just bring me into your mind, your heart, and really your body in that moment, because some people say they have an out-of-body experience. So what was that like to sit there with your team knowing we're going to hear Binghamton, we just got to find out where we're going to be?
It's pretty incredible, a very emotional moment. I've put a lot of heart and soul into this program, but more importantly, the players that have believed in it got to experience that in a different way yesterday. I don't think there was ever a question in this group's mind that they were going to be sitting in those seats. Dating back to the first team meeting in the fall season, we've been talking about it all year. It's been 365 days that I think it's kind of sat with some of these older players within the program, and certainly ate away at me over the course of the last year, wanting a different result than what we had last season. So it was pretty incredible yesterday. A very proud moment of what my staff was able to accomplish, what these players were able to do. And yeah, just very excited for what's next. But I think the most important thing was to me that there was never doubt in these players' mind that we were going to be sitting in those seats and listening for our name to be called.
Like you said, that there was never any doubt going all the way back to the first meeting and then 365 days of knowing what it was like to be so close to it. It's one thing to get there and say, well, we should have done this, we could have done that. It's another thing to look a year down the road and see that this team put themselves, with the newcomers as well, put themselves right back where they were and went one step further. That takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of poise. It takes a lot of teamwork. It takes a lot of selflessness. It takes a lot of integrity. It takes a lot of faith. Just what you can say about seeing a team frustrated and upset last year, and when a year is in between, a million things can take them away from that focus. Yet here we are going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think I realized early on with this team in this specific group of players that we have here that they were resilient, that adversity didn't get them off course. And we've seen that through the course of the season. We've hit some hurdles. We've definitely had to adjust some things with personnel throughout the course of the season. And it's always kind of been next woman up and a handful of players that said that they wanted to step up and fill shoes and make an impact. Freshmen up through seniors, everybody has been a part of making this happen. And whether it's stepping up in a practice role, in filling in, for somebody in a game that might have gotten carted out or gotten injured, it's easy to turn to the bench and see, a whole row of people that are eager to help and want to be a part of this team's success, and are confident in their own abilities, but also want to be a part of that impact.
Here with Stephanie Allen, the head coach of the Binghamton University Bearcats women's lacrosse team, making history as regular season co-champs and America East champions outright after the America East tournament and heading to the NCAA tournament. UAlbany has gotten a lot of respect. You talk about Binghamton not always getting getting in the conversation, or if they're in the conversation, not getting a lot of positive publicity from the outside looking in. UAlbany, quite the opposite. There's the expectation at UAlbany to have a win over UAlbany for the first time in program history and have that win be for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. I know it's something that you wanted. I know it's something that you fought for, but dang it if Binghamton didn't make this one ring when it finally happened.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot going into that week and really who we wanted to see in the championship. It's funny, my assistant Shannon is a Great Dane herself, and we won't hold it against her, but she talked a lot about that expectation, the expectation to be in the championship game for Albany, the expectation to beat Binghamton. And she was excited to be on the other side of history there and be a part of taking them down and, helping our program accomplish that. But, even heading into the final moments of that first semifinal game, we were standing outside with the team ready to walk over to the field. And Albany and UMass Lowell were still playing out there, final minutes to go. And It was a tight, close game. And I turned to my seniors and I said, who would you rather face in the finals? And for them to step up to the challenge and say, we want one more go at Albany before we leave this university was pretty exciting for me as a coach, to hear them not shy away from the challenge of facing a team that we've never beaten in program history, to make it that much more meaningful to them to take down Albany, in the championship game. And I knew at that point in time, like this group was going to get it done.
And as this group steps forward in this Bearcat Breakroom, spotlighting the Binghamton University Bearcats women's lacrosse team with head coach Stephanie Allen here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Before we jump to rapid fire, Stephanie, I want to take a look at how you have grown as a coach. And from the first meeting, you talked about that first meeting and how you knew that this team really, truly believed they were going to be sitting in those chairs on a selection night and get to see their name called. How have you grown from that first meeting for this season, that first step out of last season into this season, where has Stephanie Allen come from beginning, well, I should say the end of last year to this year where we are right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think just as a coaching staff, we've grown. I have an entirely new staff this year, and I've had to learn, how to adapt to coaching with and managing people differently. They have helped me take a step back as well and give up more of the reins and trust in their abilities. They make that very easy to do. But I think over the course of the season, it's been fun to watch them take on a larger leadership role with their units and, put a lot of trust in them. I'm very much a type A personality, so I want to have my hands on everything. But I do think that over the course of the season, I've grown confidence in their abilities and their growth as assistant coaches, and the way that they can communicate and relate to our players and build confidence in our players is something that has been a big part of our success. And for me, it's getting on board with that, but letting the reins be loosened a little bit and them kind of take over and do what they do best. I think that's probably been one of the biggest things. But just with this team in general, they've made me much calmer as a coach. I don't think I've had nearly the level of composure throughout the course of a season and belief in, what was going to happen as the end result of a game that I have this season. And, I think that's been fun to kind of, maybe not have as much fear in the outcome, but trust in what we've instilled throughout the course of practice and preparation that's put in, that they can handle those bigger moments as players as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously huge, and again, speaks to the chemistry and the culture and the environment at Binghamton University for this women's lacrosse team. Right before Rapid Fire, we know Friday, May 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern time, that next game up, which is going to be Yale University, and that game will find us in the NCAA tournament for the Binghamton University Bearcats women's lacrosse team, and that's going to be in New Haven, Connecticut. And of course, you can go to bubearcats.com, click on women's lacrosse, and find out how you can watch, as well as live stats and any history here. The first round, May 10th, this Friday, 1 p.m. Once again. What can you tell us about what's coming up in a few days with Yale?
We're just tackling scout now and getting a chance to take a look at them. Know the level of players they have within their program and the success that they've found so far this season. They are going to be aggressive. They're going to be composed in the pressure of the moment. And I'm excited for our players to get the opportunity to go out and compete on this platform. For us, today is all about recovery and getting our players back to, a place that we can step out there tomorrow and get a good solid practice in. It'll be probably just, lighter, some 7v7 over the next couple of days, and maybe some walkthrough stuff in terms of sets and systems that we might face. But, fine tuning the little things, the little things have to be taken care of out there on the game. They're going to be, what makes the biggest impact out there. So we've just got to talk through some defensive, slide packages, some draw control, ground ball work, all the little things, and certainly, doing what we can to limit card situations out there, and just some overall discipline.
Yeah, and I think with any game, and you could say this yourself, people say it's coach speak, but it's reality, is you can't look at the opponent on the other side. You could scout them and what they do and whatnot, but when it comes down to what you can control, that's what you have to do. You got to play Binghamton's game and make sure you take care of business. So I know that'll be handled in practice this week, and have full faith in not only you, but your staff and these student athletes who have made history, but are definitely still hungry and not done with what they've done up to this point. Let's play some rapid fire. We've done it before. Stephanie, you get to ask me the first question.
Oh man. I guess I should have been more prepared here. Favorite book or book you've read recently?
I have to finish this book, but I would say I've been reading it over time, and it's called Still Fooling 'Em, and it's by Billy Crystal. And I have a connection to the sports and entertainment world, and we have Superpowered Pop, the entertainment show where we speak with illustrators and writers and actors and actresses, and I like to live in that world of screenwriting and doing some of that down the road in my life. I've done some acting, I've done some technical work. So I would say reading his book and feeling like I understand, because him and I seem to have things that are in common that we can appreciate from the sports and entertainment world. And no matter how old you get, there's certain people that you're just like, wow, I get to be friends with this person, or I get to talk with this person. So I think his book just seems very down to earth, very real, and it speaks to my career up to this point. So I would say I got to finish Billy Crystal's book, Still Fooling Them.
Cool.
I would say that. All right, Stephanie, my first question for you. Well, since you asked about books, what is the greatest book you've ever read and why?
Oh gosh. Favorite book ever. I mean, this is not probably a favorite of everybody's, but I like Virginia Woolf. She wrote a book called A Room of One's Own, feminist at heart, and just like the female empowerment of taking care of yourself and not relying on other people to do that for you. Having your own space, having your own, financial stability. I think that's a book that's kind of always spoken to me. It's really short. It's a quick read if anyone wants to pick it up, but I just enjoy reading or doing the Audible books. I travel a ton. I'm in my car a ton. Even when I'm sitting there doing work, I'm probably listening to a book, through Audible. So I try and get through a book a week or maybe every 2 weeks. I've got a lot on my favorites list. I think I finished one on Thursday or Friday this past week by Emily Henry called Funny People. So I like her as an author as well. It's a lot more lighthearted than Virginia Woolf.
Fair enough. What is your next question?
You got a Sunday off, from work or watching sports. What's kind of on the agenda?
Well, I was supposed to this past Sunday have a lazy Sunday, and I didn't get in bed to relax with my dog until 11 o'clock at night. So I didn't really listen to what I planned on doing. But I would say that if I had just kind of not do anything, relax, I would probably make some breakfast, make my own breakfast in bed, and make some pancakes, blueberry chocolate chip pancakes, homemade, bring them upstairs, and then have my little dog Lily, and we'd probably watch movies all day. And so some New Girl, some movies, and yeah, I mean, I think Lily really appreciates when I sit down, when I actually relax or like get in bed. So I would say it would be food and just watching some really cool stuff and hanging out with my dog, because I know that she appreciates the company because I'm running around a lot, and I know that my time with her is very peaceful and she's the best. So I'd probably say that. Gotta pick Lily. All right, this will be the final question here for rapid fire. So Stephanie, for you, okay, so let's go to relaxation. We're going to stick with that. If you had the opportunity to take a week off and you're going to travel to 3 different places within that week off, I know we've talked about places that you've traveled, things you've gotten to do, but you can go back to a place you've been to, or you can go somewhere new. If you had a week to just kind of hang out, where would you make your 3 stops?
Man, 3 stops. I got to think about like distance and proximity to each other, but
Let's give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 weeks, so then you can have more proximity. You don't have to worry about proximity.
Vacation.
Yeah.
It's funny, we were talking about this on the bus the other day, and some people's spots that they might travel to. I've had the fortune to travel a lot in my life, but some places that I haven't been, I would probably do like an African safari, then go see pyramids in Egypt.
Okay.
And then those have got to be like, we're moving around, we're doing excursions, not a lot of like downtime. And then maybe I'm hitting up Bali from there, or possibly, you know, the Greek islands. I've been to Mykonos and Santorini, but maybe just, yeah, like back to one of those and chilling for the last portion of that trip.
Safari, pyramids, relaxation. Sounds perfect. For you and I feel like right now that's a screensaver, but at some point, hopefully everybody gets to take those trips. I would love to take a trip overseas to go see my family in Italy and Spain. I know you've gotten to travel, and I know that you will be traveling again to sunny Connecticut, and that'll be this Friday, May 10th at 1 o'clock. And once again, go to bubearcats.com, everybody. If you can't make it to the game, make sure you are watching and supporting the team. Stephanie, you have an incredible support system. You spoke about the alumni, but just the community in general, be it people in Binghamton and in the Southern Tier or all over the world. When I put out the championship graphic that Binghamton had there, the amount of response that I got was incredible. All of the kind words, all of the likes and the loves of the post. It was pretty instant. So I know you probably already know this, but there's a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people that are excited. And I can tell you this, if you have any moment of adversity on that field, there's a giant wave of Bearcat support that's always going to be coming your way. And I saw that over these last couple of days.
Oh, that's good to hear. I feel like we've got the best fans in the country, our parents, our alumni. Even just the number of Binghamton staff members that made the trip on their own dollar to get out to Albany this past weekend. It kind of warmed our hearts. It was pretty awesome to see. We loved getting to celebrate that moment with all those people present as well.
Yeah, so from the Heritage Hill Studios, this is the Bearcat Breakroom, celebrating and spotlighting Binghamton University Bearcats women's lacrosse with head coach Stephanie Allen. Stephanie, as always, thank you for your time. Safe travels, and we'll be watching.
All right. Thanks so much, Dan.